that Dan? We'll wait.
They do.
Okay. At 6:30, I'd like to call the Dover Select Board meeting on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024 to order. First business, public comments. I hear none. Number 2, Dover Conservation Commission. Consider the Dover Conservation Commission letter to SoVTA regarding town forest trail maintenance. Andy, would you like to speak to that?
Sure.
Since you're on the Conservation Commission.
Sure, so you have what we sent you.
Yes.
Basically, Southern Vermont Trails Association, was doing maintenance in the town forest under an agreement that you folks signed, if you remember, a while back. It has expired, it was for 1 year. They came to us in May, and expressing, that they wanted the agreement to be different than it was, in case. And so, we wrote a new one, and, we used the agreement that you guys were working on with them when those discussions broke down, and just, chopped 5 pages out of it, made it specific to the town forest and to the Dover Conservation Commission and SoVTA, instead of including Horace Hill and the Ridge Project and so forth. And we were thinking it would be appropriate and falls within our purview and our statutory powers to sign this with them. We're not spending money. But we wanted to be on the same page as you folks. You signed the last one. And we didn't want to sort of usurp your power and have you hear about it secondhand. So we wanted to come in front of you and let you know what our intentions were. And get your feedback on that, or get you folks to acknowledge that, yeah, you guys handled it good enough. Or, hey, this should be something that we sign. Get your feedback and not do something without communicating with you first.
Anybody have any comments? Scott, please.
What was the time frame on all of this? Like, obviously this law season has already started, correct, out there?
So they did maintenance, not this past season, but the season prior. Okay. And I did some maintenance as well. So for this year, we met in May. And they expressed that they would like the agreement to read differently, and that they were pretty much booked up this year. So over the course of the summer, I did the maintenance for this year, they did not. So this is in preparation for next year's maintenance, which hopefully they will do.
I have a question. Does this have the town, I think signage needs to be improved in the town
Yes,
forest.
absolutely,
It's
yes.
almost dangerous because without cell service
Yeah,
in a lot of the town forest, you're not sure where you're going and you could get yourself in big trouble.
yes,
So would this usurp the town's ability to put some better signage up there?
no, we're talking about signage, and hopefully for next year, it will be better signed. Hopefully, with this new agreement, we'll have, the signage that's up there was put up by SoVTA.
Mhm.
So, we need to meet with them and talk to them about it and coordinate with them over the signage. Hopefully, this agreement will, mean that we'll be meeting with them and talking about signage, but Eric has put aside some money for us to spend on signage up there. We have some ideas, Ben Joyce, the lieutenant in charge of search and rescue, has some ideas. And the signage, you should look forward to different and better signage for next season, for sure.
Well, ultimately, the Conservation Commission is in charge of the property in terms of, and we appreciate all the information that we share together, but I think going forward, I would suggest that the Conservation Commission do what's in the best interest of, and that's their job, to oversee it. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Others?
I appreciate that, what SoVTA has been doing, and then just, a bunch of volunteers and putting forth the time to put in the signage and to have everything out there, so.
Joe, do you have an opinion?
Sounds good to me, just to let it commission to decide what's best for the forest. That's what their job is.
We don't need to vote on
Dan,
anything.
do you have a,
I think I go along with it.
so I've heard everybody's in support of the Conservation Commission doing this, and
Excellent.
thank you for asking.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay, anything else on that? Moving over to new business. We are going to consider the appointment of a state ethics commission liaison. We were talking about this before the meeting started a little bit about this new Act 171 that requires the each town if you have an employee, designate an employee as its liaison to the State Ethics Commission. We have to do this by January 1st, 2025. They not really clear a lot of what this employee would do. But the employee would serve as the point of communication with the State Ethics Commission, primarily when we disseminate information. For example, we have a free online ethics training that will be posted in a few weeks, and we'll send you a notice when it's ready. They also will receive complaints that are filed at our office, state office, regarding municipal officials in their municipality, if there are any. They are required to log the complaints and track basic complaint information. And a sample complaint tracker can be found on the website. And so we had no idea that this was something we had to do, so we have it on the agenda. And we need to appoint someone. Now, Jim McDevitt asked if it could be an interim one. I'm sure that it doesn't have to be the same. I mean, I'm sure we could say we are going to do this person and have a bigger search for an employee who's interested in this. Or we could just do it. I don't know how much this is, the time this will entail. It doesn't sound like a whole lot. So, do we have any employees here who would be interested in being that person?
You look so excited.
It sounds interesting, something to learn.
What a good guy, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Applying as an intern.
Yeah.
Even if it's on a temporary basis or whatever, and just to learn about what it
Rotate or
entails,
something.
make some notes and
Mhm.
get some information, bring back.
Something a little bit out of your regular
Correct, yeah.
financial world.
Maybe it could be a rotating thing.
Well, there's a fair amount of ethics involved in the financial world.
And I don't know how long this, it's not really, it's just a contact, I guess. It's an appointment, so I guess I don't know if they know how many years and that might last, if you do it every year, what all, I think they're just figuring this out when they need a contact person.
My suspicion is once you get appointed, you kind of can't get
Yeah, I don't-
appointed.
No,
You kind of live forever in that part. It's like
Unless
being
you-
on the
unless you
regional
want to.
commissioner.
And it doesn't, do you have to just a point person, right? It's not like you
a
have
point
to
person.
do
No.
any kind of investigating or anything like that.
I don't think they really know. Andy,
I think Michelle has her hand up, maybe?
No,
Linda, yes, Linda?
Hi, so I just wanted to make a point, this whole ethics piece came out last year in legislation with Act 68 and what all entailed in that. This was tacked on to that bill. And one of the things that Emily Kornheiser had made a big piece about was ethics in Vermont of on the appraisal side of the possibility of properties getting appraised based on, well, you're my really good friend, so maybe I'll do you a favor. The thing that got me was a lot of the data that they discovered was pulled from Chicago, and that this gets into race issues, whether if you're black and you're trying to sell your home, there's verbiage that if you paint your house white and make it look all nice like a white person's home, that the chances of it selling better. I kind of took offense to that, but
Like, okay,
when I think back, even in Dover, that there have been some ethics issues. And so at first I was not happy they were implementing this, but now I'm thinking it's going to be a good thing. And I haven't gotten through it yet, but I have a 195-page report that came out today, which was the report from Property Valuation and Review, the tax department, that they were asked to do last year on the assessing process. And I know there's stuff in there about the whole ethics thing. I didn't hear who expressed interest.
Marco,
I did.
Marco, okay. So I would certainly be happy to share whatever is in that report. And anyone else, I didn't send it to the board because it is so big. You can access it, I believe, through the state of Vermont website. I believe it went live today. So, and there is a meeting about it on Thursday to go over this report. And so we'll see if there's more. I will keep you updated, Marco, or the board as well. But that's sort of where all that stemmed from. Just adding my piece.
any other comments about this?
I
Marco?
don't know, kind of don't want to bite off more than I can chew, but
I'm not
Yeah.
sure that they make it sound like it's not at this
Okay.
point. And you can always reconsider, I'm sure, after the fact, but we have to give them a name.
Mhm.
Anybody else interested?
I make a motion that Marco accept it. So we can move
Second.
on to the next.
Will you accept it if we vote in the affirmative?
I'll accept it with, if maybe we could review it in a few months, just to see
Mhm.
if we learn some stuff and just kind of see where we go from there.
That seems
No,
fair.
maybe-
I'm sure we could give them a different name and you can hand over whatever logs you might have.
Can
Thank
I
you.
just say there is
Hold
gonna
on,
be a man,
hold on, Linda, Mike, our
Sorry.
guest.
I'm just looking at their website,
Uh-huh.
the ethicscommission.gov, whatever it is, and, looks like it's been active for a while, they're just looking for these appointed liaisons now as clerical point of contact. So if no one here is aware that there's ever been one, then I don't think there's anything to be careful about. This has been going on since 2017, so unless someone here is aware of ethics complaints that are filed with this commission against somebody in Dover, I don't think there's been one in 8 years.
There you go. Okay,
Fair enough.
any other discussion? Linda, do you want to come back to that?
I just, when I said there's been ethics issues in Dover, nothing that was filed.
Okay.
And we will all have to do a ethics training.
I'm aware of
Everyone,
that. I'm aware of that, yes,
yeah,
when they get it together,
yes.
okay.
I'm sorry, everyone.
All the employees and all the elected officials.
I believe it's going right across the whole municipalities.
Yeah.
Everyone, even the transfer station.
I'm sure it's some kind of, it will be on a webinar thing kind of thing. All right, any other comments? All of them, all in favor of appointing Marco Cellini to be the town ethics liaison to the ethics
Aye.
commission? Aye.
Aye.
Did you say aye, Scott?
Yes.
Okay, that is unanimous. All right, thank you, Marco, for taking this on. Now we have the update on the 250th anniversary. I'm guessing Jeanette.
I just have a brief email that I received from Megan Albert, who's the event coordinator. She said she's writing to remind everyone about the upcoming years of Vermont's 250th anniversary. The official Vermont 250th website is now live. Please explore it and stay tuned as it is being continuously updated. They have an Instagram and Facebook page with commemorations, webinars, and events that are being planned. And they are going to send us 250 anniversary stickers and magnets to promote in the town, in everybody's town. So I will ask them to send those out.
We agreed to do something, so people should think about it. Thank you, Jeanette. Next, we're gonna consider additional budget meeting dates. I think that the next couple of weeks are off the table.
Yeah.
The next time we meet is January 7th. We could potentially meet the following week or something. Is that work still time-wise? Yes, Marco?
I'm just thinking, I think Andy has a hard deadline for
The town report.
the town report.
He asked department heads to have theirs in by the 10th,
By the 10th, yeah.
which seemed early, so,
Of January.
yeah.
Yeah, that's because they don't come in the week after.
All right, so we have a.
Yeah, so, so that's that week is the department head, but I don't know, I mean. Usually we don't finalize the budget now until about mid-January sometime. So can we ask if we approve a budget on January 21st at our regular meeting, if that would be an acceptable date, or if we need to do it earlier? I don't know what it's
a little too fast.
Just trying to think, so usually has to go to the printer. To get it back 2 weeks before town meeting. So. I'm sorry,
What's the date of town meeting?
March. First
First
Tuesday
Tuesday in
in
March.
March.
Tuesday in March.
First Tuesday in March,
Which
7th
is,
maybe, I'm not sure.
the 4th. Well, let's.
I think. Yeah, and then we can put it down for the 21st.
For the budget final vote, but if we had another budget meeting to get to the final, the numbers. Like the week of the 13th, that someday the week there, and we could also warn it if we needed to get it to approve the budget as well at that meeting. What does everybody else think?
Whatever. We need one more meeting.
I think so. It won't be a long meeting necessarily. but we haven't, yeah,
Oh, no, I'm looking at January, I'm not around the 9th or 10th, but,
okay, like the 8th, the afternoon of the 8th, or are you leaving earlier?
I'm around the afternoon of the, I'm around the,
And it does, I don't think
Yeah.
this, we just wanna either get, and then it also gives us an opportunity if we have to vote for it.
The 8th isn't good for me.
8th isn't good, and I'm gonna be pressed to, yeah.
What about the following week? The week of the 13th?
The 13th,
I'm-
what, are you gone that week?
no,
Okay, so how about Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon, the 15th or 16th?
Can I make a
That's-
suggestion?
I
Yes,
can't do Wednesday.
So you're saying it's not gonna take that long, so we've kind of gone through it. We're just kind of hashing out a couple more numbers, correct?
yes,
Okay, so why don't we do a early start on our meeting on the 7th to kind of do that, and then if we have to just do a quick meeting, and if we can say that we might be ratifying the budget on our first Tuesday meeting at 6, start the meeting a little early, that budget, this way it gives an opportunity for people that might have wanted to weigh in on it that can't during a daytime meeting, that we've been doing all these budget meetings during the day. So maybe we'll have someone that might come out and have something to say.
that's fair comments.
idea.
I just don't wanna be under the pressure that we have to approve it that night, cause sometimes it's better to get all the numbers, cause numbers will move that day. And it's kind of, I'd like to look at the final version that we are looking to approve. Yes,
If we did do it on the 7th and we did need another time, we could, that would probably be the best move rather than waiting till,
so that's fine,
alright. So
Okay.
to move,
So we'll be-
it's the 7th at 6. Okay. I think that should. Cause we still have to get did you send them around from our last meeting?
I will send them around again, there were a
Okay.
few edits Jeanette and I were working with, so.
Okay.
Yeah, they're ready now.
Thank you. Okay, anything else under new business? We're moving on to economic development. Our ARPA obligation decision. Which is everybody has a copy of from the desk. This is a resolution to move money into, to pay for wages. And so what we're gonna need to do, and Eric, you wanna just give us a little background why we have to do something like this?
So because we don't actually have these funds allocated to contracts, we stand the risk of having to return that money. We understand that we would like to use it for the well project, but we can't do that because we don't have contracts signed to complete the well project at this point. What this allows us to do is take the remaining money, $165,000, $165,216.41, and allocate that back against the payroll expenses outlined here on the back from July 1st until December 17th, for the employees listed there. So that qualifies that money as allocated at that point, and then moving forward, we would have a surplus of $165,216.41, the same number, moving forward that we can use for whatever we would like. So this is an acceptable use of the funds. The bulk of this resolution was drafted by VLCT. It is something that many towns across the state are doing right now because everybody's kind of in the same boat. Marco and I have both spoken to Sullivan and Powers.
They were instrumental in getting that passed. Working with the LCT and, as it's been difficult
Right,
for folks to commit and no one wants to lose the money, so.
so, that would allow us, it would give us a surplus of this amount of money that we could then move into a capital account.
Correct.
And if we wanted to create a capital account dedicated to the water system at the common, that would have to be warned at town meeting for a water system, and a Dover Common Water System account. And that would be voted on at town meeting.
If and when we pass this resolution tonight, we no longer refer to that money as ARPA money. It is a surplus in our budget because the ARPA money has been allocated
To these expenses. Do we have to read this entire thing in? Sarah, do you want to do the
I'm
reading?
going, baby. Okay. So I say hereby move that we sign and then, okay. Resolution for American Rescue Plan Act allocation. Whereas on March 11th, 2021, the President of the United States signed into law the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, to provide continued relief from the public health and, I'm sorry, Jim, I'm sorry, but I can hear you clear as day. I apologize, but it's very distracting. To provide continued relief from the public health and economic impacts of the COVID-19 public health emergency, and whereas ARPA created the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, SLFRF, that provided direct funding to state, local, and tribal governments across the country to support their response to and recovery from the COVID-19 public health emergency, and whereas the town of Dover has accepted an allocation of SLFRF in the amount of $317,971.04. And whereas SLFRF provides needed fiscal relief for recipients that have experienced revenue loss due to the onset of the COVID-19 public health emergency. And whereas Treasury presumes that up to $10 million in revenue has been lost due to the public health emergency, and recipients are permitted to use that amount not to exceed the award amount to fund government services. And whereas recipients may elect a standard allowance of $10 million to spend on government services through the period of performance, and whereas all recipients may elect to use this standard allowance instead of calculating lost revenue when using the formula provided by the U.S. Department of the Treasury, including those with total allocations of $10 million or less. And whereas the town of Dover has the need to fund government services while in the recovery phase of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, therefore, it be resolved, the Select Board of the town of Dover, Vermont authorize the following. Section 1, the following allocation of the SLFRF funding to fund government services under the replacing lost public sector revenue spending category as follows. Expend SLFRF funds in an amount up to $165,216.41 for the purpose of municipal operating expenses as outlined below for the period July 1st, 2024 through December 17th, 2024. List expenses. And so these are our actual numbers, or? Okay. Town clerk salary, $35,299.92. Treasurer / financial manager salary, $34,223.16. Zoning administrator salary, $22,211.20. Assessor salary, $24,083.82. Road commissioner salary, $41,833.44. Assistant town clerk / office admin salary, $28,723.20 for a total of $186,374.74.
Is there a second?
Again,
Oh. Comments on this?
so I do have a comment. So I assume at town meeting, we're gonna have an article explaining what we did and then set up an account for the water to be funded for the, have a fund for that. And if we don't use all that up, that's kind of the plan right now. Ethically would be the best plan, I think. Correct?
Yeah,
we
yes,
should have
but this is now, if we accept this, this is
Yeah.
we have a surplus.
Correct.
And that's how we're gonna have to refer to it always.
Right.
Right. Well, I just want to make sure that, the voters know that there'll be a surplus showing, but it's really, we're earmarking that money for a project that was unforeseen. So we'll just bring it up at town meeting.
and a project that needs to get done and that we,
Mhm.
at this point, are not able to enter into a contract with. Because we are not there quite yet. Any other comments? Yes, Mark.
Oh, and to add to that, this is not, tax, it's not raised from property taxes, so it's there was a surplus that didn't come from our budget,
Right.
sort of created, just mechanically presented this way.
It did, yeah, it's not a surplus, it was created because they overpaid.
Anything else?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next we need to approve,
Signs.
oh yeah, which sign one,
Remember your thing?
yeah. It's- Nice job reading that, Sarah.
Thank you. Only stumbled a couple times. Approve the minutes when you're done.
You're welcome. Okay, and Joe, when are you back?
Tomorrow.
Can you come in this week and sign it?
I will try. I need to work between 9 and I should be able to make it after 4 o'clock. Yeah. I'll come in Thursday after teaching skiing.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I think it's important to have all the signatures on it.
Yep.
Next, we have the minutes of the, where are they just do, this December 12th. To approve.
I just have, there's one correction that was brought to my attention on the vote. On the warrants for December 7th, I wrote 402, and there's only 5 of you, so it should have been 302.
Okay.
For you.
Okay.
So I make a motion, we approve the minutes of December 12th, 2024 with the correction as noted this evening.
Second.
I also thought I had a correction in the budget under the assessor. We decided to keep it at what the assessor had at 14,400, and this says we'll maintain 28,000. So it really, I thought that's what we decided.
Yeah, voters,
So it's just
Yeah.
a mistake in this.
okay, it's the lower number.
Yeah,
14.
It's
yeah.
what was in the budget that we
Right,
were looking
okay.
at, 14,400, I think it was. I got it right here. $14,040.
Yes,
Okay,
So
so I would like to amend my motion to reflect the change on page 4 of the minutes regarding the assessor's salary, the change from 28,000 to 14,040.
mhm,
Assessor assistant.
Assessor
Assistant.
assistant.
yeah,
Yeah.
somebody want, okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
FYIs? Yes.
I have 2. Tomorrow we start, discovered over, the sheets are in front of you there, those are hanging in all of our businesses that were open. So prizes are designed. People can sign up and start doing that as of tomorrow. We have email blasts going out and the words out there pretty good. Second, VLCT is hosting a meeting on Friday to discuss what they're calling a surplus in 1% funds. Apparently the state has a pool of $10.3 million of our 1%, not just ours, but all the 1% fund. Basically, when they take that 30%, they've been putting it into a fund and it's just been sitting there. They haven't been doing anything with it. So VLCT is organizing all the 1% towns to go after the state tax department and say, let's relook at how we do this, and also let's talk about us getting our money back. So VLCT is hosting that on Friday, if anybody's interested.
I'm definitely going.
Becky and I would definitely be.
Yeah, that's and maybe we can advocate at the same time. It's at 9:30.
Friday?
It's on Teams.
You should have that link
You have to get your own,
I'll send you the link to register and then you just need to
Yeah.
put your own registration information.
and
I'll send that.
I wanna advocate for better reporting. I think that it's an opportunity to put some weight behind this. That allows us to use the data more effectively to track things. And this concerns me a great deal. I think this is a big problem that, who knew that this 10.3 was hanging around?
And completely honestly, I don't see them handing the money back to us. However, as you said, it does give us an opportunity to kind of push for some change as to how they report to us and what information they can share with us. That in
But it-
itself would be pretty.
It's only supposed to be an administrative fee, and if they are obviously not using that amount of money for administrative fee, now that the program has been in, the tax has been evaluated and run for many years, maybe it's time for them to change. And I think VLCT is, when I got that email and I called up, I was like, I can't believe that they're going after this, and I'm so happy that we are finally getting a voice in this, and this is a time for some needed changes potentially.
So is this something we can renegotiate the 30% down to 10?
I don't know, it's VLCT's working on it with all the towns,
Because that's just,
and on behalf of all towns.
I can tell you, it does not cost 30 cents to count, because as a person that files, it's filed on the same form. It's not like it's a different form. It's not that big of an accounting deal.
No.
So. It's
But they're employees,
ludicrous.
the people who administer the thing and count it and send the money back and everything. So it's gonna be an interesting meeting, I think. With lots of towns, so it's all the towns that have had local option tax or
Right.
do that. And then if they, for some way, we're able to. We dig some of that money back, there's towns that joined early with the one local option tax and towns that are just joining and it joined over, last few years, so.
Should be prorated.
Pretty complicated situation. Thank you for that, Eric. Yes,
One thing, I just wanted to give some feedback about the letter, the landowner permission form that we sent to the Wardsboro Pathfinders.
Mhm.
Brian Cormier is the, I guess he's the president. And he responded right away. He said, "We certainly don't condone any off-trail riding. We've been working very hard to rebuild trust amongst our landowners from issues that occurred a few years back. I will share this with the rest of our board so we can hopefully come up with a solution to this off-trail riding. We can definitely get some signs up that say stay on trail and sensitive trail, as we have done in other areas. We can also alert all of our members to the possibility of losing the trail if the off-trail riding continues." So he would keep us posted on that, but he was definitely in agreement with our thoughts.
great,
I'm the liaison.
okay,
I attended the annual meeting of the Wyndham Solid Waste Management meeting in Brattleboro on Friday. And they had a couple of really interesting things. One is that they're putting out an RFP for the towns to see if they could find somebody else to cart the stuff to Wyndham Solid Waste Management, because obviously the costs have gone up.
yeah, they have that in the Deerfield Valley days.
I mentioned that to them that we were interested in possibly doing it ourselves. They offered their help in helping us with equipment and so forth. So I doubt it'd be that necessary, but I spoke to Travis, and we'll go down and see what they have from them. There's also grants available now for composting. One of the problems also with Casella is the fact that they've taken away the dumpster for the composting, and they put those garbage pails, plastic garbage pails. And so they also would help us with that. And there are also grants, because in 2025, the EPA is going to try to help so that we compost more of our materials.
Thank you, Dan, thanks. Anything else? I don't think there's an executive session needed. Do you want that?
Yes.
We should
I
have
know it's warned
probably warned it at the beginning of the meeting.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Well,
Okay,
what is it? What, is it something,
No, it's all good. It's fine. Need to be warned. We'll tackle it next time.
what, we have it at the end of the. Whatever, it's at the end of the
usually
meeting,
that executive sessions are pointed out at the beginning of the meeting if they're needed.
okay, I agree, but I mean. It's on our thing to have an executive session. So if Scott
Okay.
wanted to talk about something, I don't see why we defer it
Okay,
thing.
you wanna talk
Doesn't
about
make any
it?
sense.
Okay,
It's on the agenda,
Why do we ask?
executive session.
You should have said it.
okay, we'll do it, okay. We're good, all right, so I'm gonna adjourn the regular. I meant for personnel. We're gonna go into, adjourn the regular meeting, go into executive session. I am so exhausted.
Yeah,
I feel, there it is, living now.
really,
Oh, yeah.
does it work?